to our one-to-one Chromebook initiative. My name is Joanne Petty, and I'm the principal of Urbana Junior High. Mr. Schultz, he's the assistant principal. We have Kelly Marsh here, and also Kurt Haney, both in technology up at the high school. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and allow Kelly to go ahead and begin so we don't keep you here that long, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Petty. I'm going to try the microphone out. Last time it was pretty staticky, so I may turn it off halfway through, so just let me know if you can't hear. Hopefully if I stay away from the technology, it'll continue to work. We're very excited to start our program for the one-to-one initiative with the sixth graders. We started passing out Chromebooks last week for the seventh graders, and they have most of them taken care of and working away in their classrooms. The kids are having a lot of fun with it, I think. I've heard a lot of good, positive comments from them. So we're excited to get the sixth graders started. We're going to try and be brief tonight and allow time for any questions, concerns that you might have. We're just going to go through some of the highlights of the project tonight, and again, take any of your questions. Mr. Mackey, our technology teacher here at Local, is going to film the presentation tonight, so the parents that could not be here can watch it online. It should be up on the junior high website tomorrow or the day after. So if you need to go back and review anything, that'll be there. I think you all got a handout when you came in. If not, there's still plenty over there. It has all of our contact information, plus some just general things that I know that parents are going to need to see several times to make sure that we have all the right information out to you. Okay? So we've been talking for a while about why we thought it would be important to do a one-to-one program. And one-to-one just means one device for every child. So there were several things that we came up with over the course of the last year or so. The first thing being that it supports an innovative learning model. We want our teachers to be innovative in their practices, and we want our children to be prepared for their future in some of those technologies that they're going to be using. It complements what we call a project-based learning environment, which is something you will hear more about over the next several years. Our students are going to start being a part of project-based learning, which means that they're solving real-world problems while they're learning. Okay? So you're going to hear more about that in the next couple of years through your children's teachers. We want to broaden our learning beyond the classroom. We know that if we can tie our experiences to real life, it's going to enrich our students' education. They're going to be more engaged, and we want them to be global learners involved in the global market, the global economy, and everything that's going on around the world. And technology is going to allow us to do that. We're going to prepare students for college and the workforce. We know that these kind of technologies that we're using, Chromebooks, cloud-based learning, any of those things are going to be a part of what they're going to do when they get to college. A lot of their classes and things will be online, even if they are in the classroom part of the time. A lot of the things they'll be doing will also be online, so we want to start heading them down that direction now. We want to provide equitable access, and we know that we need every child to be able to have the same device and the same opportunity to complete the assignments that the teachers are going to be giving. And through a program like we've designed, we can do that. We can ensure that every child has an opportunity to complete their assignments at home, whether they have Wi-Fi or not, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We know that our teachers can now troubleshoot and help our students because they're all learning from the same device. We want to talk about the Millennial Generation, which is what your children are. They have grown up with devices in their hands. They're not learning the same way that we learned when we were younger, and so we kind of want to embrace that and meet them where they are and where their needs are. Along with that, we have the 21st century thinking skills. We want to teach communication, collaboration, learning how to get along with each other, learning how to be respectful when you're online, all of those things tied together in a 21st century learning package. And foremost, we want to increase their engagement. We want to increase their willingness to learn. And when they're engaged, when they're willing to learn and they're interested in what's happening in class, then obviously their achievement will go up as well. So those are some of the things as a district that we talked about as to why we wanted to go to a one-to-one program. So our next step was to decide what kind of device did we want. Did we want to go iPads, MacBook Airs? Did we want to look at Chromebooks? So there are several reasons we went with the Chromebooks, and they're listed here. They are definitely lower in cost than the other options. The ones that we chose are advertised as being school tough, backpack ready. They're light, but they're very durable. Right? And we have one up here that we can show you in a few minutes. They've got kind of a spill protection. They've got that nice rubber outside to them. They're lightweight, like I said. They've got some flexible viewing, meaning the top will bend a little bit further than some of the models. They work on Google Apps for education, and that's what we use here at school. We use Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Drawings, any of those, Gmail. We have all that available for our students now, and so that really ties in very well with the Chromebooks. Their battery life will get your child through the day, so that was really important to us, that we don't need to worry about our batteries dying halfway through the day. They're super fast. Most of your children will tell you that in the past they've been using some MacBooks and they've gotten very old. Guys tell me they take forever to load, don't they? We turn them on and we sit forever, right? Okay. So the Chromebook, you open it up and it turns right on. It updates and it's ready to go within a matter of seconds. And so we're really increasing our teaching time in the classroom. They're very secure. They're not going to get viruses and malware and things like that other computers might get. They always stay up to date or update very quickly, and they're easier for us to manage as a district. One of the things for Mr. Hanson and I was that we need to be able to push out things, for example, the Ohio Secure browser that they use for online testing. Before, Mr. Hanson would have to go and touch every machine and install a certain browser for them to do that. Now we can push them out through a Google Management Console from the office if we need to, and it'll push out to all the Chromebooks. And so we're able to better control what is happening on the Chromebooks. We're able to use some software that's going to help keep your children safe when they're online, and we'll talk about that too in a little bit. Okay, so just some quick overviews of the project. We, like I said, have been working on this for a while, and it was approved by the Board of Education last March. So it's taken us a little while to get all of our ducks in a row and get things going, make sure we had everything, to the best of our ability to have it right for you and your children. So it has been a long time coming, and we're very excited to finally get it off the ground. We did look at many different districts and types of one-to-one programs before we put ours together. We have taken a lot of pieces and parts from different districts and kind of made what we think will fit our district the best. Now, along with that, this is the first time we've done something like this. We're still in the rollout stage, so of course there are going to be changes and tweaks and things that we will do to make it better, to correct any mistakes that we may have made. One of the things that was really important to us was that our students have some ownership in the device. We know that if you own the device, you or the child or the parent has put money toward the device, has paid for the device, they're going to take a little bit better care of it, hopefully, than they would that something is the schools. So it was really important for us that the students have a sense of ownership for this. Tomorrow, you are going to have some paperwork that comes home with your child. You will have a 2-page staple of paper that you will have. It'll have some rules on the front, and it'll have a place where you sign and fill out some information. That page will come back to us. And then you will have a packet that kind of goes through the program a little bit more in detail. Everything I'm saying tonight will be in there plus some. That paper, the first paper, the 2-pager, you keep the front page. The second page is where you're going to sign. You're going to mark some different things like you were here, you watched it online. When that paper comes back to us, that is what's going to get your child the Chromebook. It's not the initial payment of money, and we're going to talk about the payment option in a bit. But that paper, having you sign it, and your child sign it and say that you've read the rules, you've been here, you mark your payment option, that's what's actually going to get your child the Chromebook. We're tentatively planning to pass out the Chromebooks next Wednesday-ish, depending on what happens with the weather in the next couple of days, as long as we're all in school and can get this done. So we're going to shoot for Wednesday, but it may be a day or two after that if we need some more time. So again, that paper has a due date of next Tuesday or whenever you can get it to us, and that is what will get your child the Chromebook the day we start getting them out. If you're not ready to turn it in by that time, you need a few days to think about it, that's fine too. Just understand your child may not get it then when we pass it out that first day. We're going to go through a repair cost as well, but the one thing I wanted to point out is that we understand that accidents happen. We've all dropped things, we've all shattered an iPad or cracked our screens. So the first repair, whatever happens, that first repair will be on us. We will fix it for you at no charge to you, with the exception, and this is what I tell the kids, If I see you're blatantly in front of you, drop it, you stomp on it, now that's a little different. You purposely destroy the device. But if it was an accident, we're going to take care of that first accident because we understand we've all had accidents. We are having the students take the device home every night. It will be part of what they're going to use to complete their homework once we kind of get up and running. And we are encouraging them to use it both for school and for your own personal uses as well. What we're telling the children, though, is that device is really meant for school stuff. So we don't expect them to be using their school email just to chat with friends. They could email and say, hey, when's that project due again? Or what do we have to do for a science class? Those kind of things are fine. Social media, most of your children at this age aren't quite 13 yet, so they don't really apply for the social media. We wouldn't really expect them to be using their school device for social media, and I see a lot of people snickering. It's okay, just don't tell me. Don't tell me, it's fine. So that's kind of how we're going on with the kids, and they're asking, can we install games? Can we listen to Pandora? Absolutely, they can do those things as long as it's appropriate. If they're going to install game apps, that's fine. Don't do it at school, don't play them at school unless the teacher has told you you can. Make sure it's school appropriate, those kind of things. And we'll talk about that with the students the day we hand everything out. But it is theirs to use. If for some reason there's a day where a couple teachers say they don't need their devices today, they will store them in their lockers where it's locked, out of the way, so they're safe. The one thing that we're going to try is for them to leave their charging cords at home. The Chromebook will have a 2-piece charging system. Those 2 pieces together cost about $65. And we figure out of the Chromebook and the charging pieces, that's the part that's easy for another student to walk by and swipe. I'm at my locker, I lay it down, somebody can come by and take it. These are built to last all day long. So what we're saying is that the charging cords will go home the first night and they should stay at home. The students need to come up with a routine of charging their Chromebooks every night. If they charge them, you plug them in at night, let them charge overnight, they'll be absolutely fine. Unplug them, take it to school the next day, leave the charging cord at home. We will have some extra charging cords here at school because we also know that things happen at night. You get home, there's an emergency, whatever, your night is all messed up, the Chromebook didn't get charged. We understand that those things are going to happen occasionally. Now, if it happens repetitively, every day your child is coming to school without a charged Chromebook, then we have to talk about some kind of consequence and figure out what's happening and why that's not getting charged. Again, it happens once or twice during the year. That's not a big deal. I know I've gone to meetings and pulled my laptop out and been like, I need a charge. So we understand that. Okay, so we have some repair costs, and this will be in your packet that you will get tomorrow. And these are just kind of, again, we've looked at other districts and we've kind of pulled what we thought would kind of cover us if needed. We're going to do our best to fix whatever we can that's easy and quick without a charge. But just in case there are some charges there that might have to do, if there's a cracked screen, if the keyboard needs repaired, your power adapter cord, those things are on there in case we need them, so just be aware of that. Like I said, the first accident, that's on us. We won't employ any of those charges. Okay, so this is the part that most people are really wanting to know about. Again, remember that we really want your child to have ownership of this device. We want it to belong to your child. So we basically have 4 options to try and help you out with the payment for those devices. The first and original one that we had is that you would pay a $200 overall charge for the device, which is still less than what the district is purchasing them for. So you could pay $50 every year for 4 years. That device then belongs to you. You pay $50 a year. That $50 is due by May 1st of the year. 4 years, and that's all you would have to pay. So that's a $200 charge. Now, if you would like, there are a couple other options. For this year, since we're starting a little late, we're giving some incentives for, you could purchase it for $150, which is about half price of what you will find in most stores for a Chromebook, maybe even a little bit more than that. If you would like to purchase it outright for $150, that payment will need to be made by February 24th of this year. Okay, so $150 is yours. Now, understand we're saying it's yours. We still have to use some management software and put some things on that Chromebook. So it's still kind of being managed by the school. Okay, and then after that 4 years, your child, or when your child graduates, or if you leave to go to another district and you've already paid for it, we'll take all of our stuff off of it, no big deal. But we have to keep your children safe while they're here, and we have to be able to manage those Chromebooks. Okay, but $150, it's yours. Like I said, that's at least half price for the Chromebook. If you're not quite comfortable with that one, the third option is you can pay $50 by February 24th, and then by May 1st, pay $125. So it's a $175 option. So you've got $200, $150, $175. Those are kind of the three tiers that we have. The fourth one, and I'll make sure I explain this one very carefully. If your child currently qualifies for free lunch, they're currently on it, and you've signed the fee waiver form, which means you don't have to pay your school fees. They have been waived, and that's already been taken care of. Not you come in tomorrow and sign up for it. That has already been taken care of. You're already participating in that program. You do not have to pay for the Chromebook. However, it will not go home with your child over the summer. It will go home at night, just like everyone else, but over the summer we will collect those and keep them safe over the summer for you. Your child will get the same one back. Now, if you qualify for the fee waiver and you're already on that and you choose to pay for it, that's absolutely fine too, but you have that option of not paying for it, again, if you are already on that fee waiver. Okay, so just a little bit more about the ownership, just to make sure, because I know we've had some questions about this. Again, you're paying for it to own it at the end of those 4 years. But like I said, our job is to help keep your children safe, and to do that, we have to put some management software on there, and it'll kind of help us, block some of the sites that might be inappropriate. We're just trying to keep your children safe and keep them away from things that are not appropriate for children of this age. Okay, we also have the ability, if a teacher wants to use a certain kind of app, and everybody in the district, or a lot of people in the district want to use that, we can push it out to the Chromebooks just like we could the testing software. Now, the management system that we use does not track things like, let's say you log into Pandora, it's not going to tell us your username and password, it's not going to tell us those kind of things, but it is going to help us catch some keywords if they're searching, or if somebody on that Chromebook is searching inappropriate things. It's going to help us track and see what's going on. The example I gave the kids in 7th grade last week when I passed them out was, let's say you're doing a report on the Civil War and you need to research the types of guns that are used in the Civil War. That word gun is probably going to be a keyword, I would imagine, that would be flagged by our management software. So if I have a child that's repeatedly using that keyword in a search, it's going to alert Mr. Hansen, and we're going to kind of see, we're going to check with that child or that child's teacher, see what's happening, make sure it is something appropriate that they're doing at school, or if there's a problem, obviously talk to the parents, guidance counselors if need be, those kind of things. Like I said, after the 4 years, or if your child leaves the district, we'll take off all of our stuff, and then, you obviously can do whatever you need to do with it. I'm not going to go into real deep detail about behavior and consequences. A lot of this will be outlined in the guidebook, but a lot of it we're going to have to handle as it comes up, just incident by incident. Obviously, if your child is doing inappropriate things with the Chromebook, we're going to have to employ some consequences, and that could be that they need to leave it at the office every day and maybe not take it home for a little while. We're going to look at things like their attendance, their behavior, and kind of see what's happening and just employ consequences. Mr. Schultz and Mrs. Petty will take care of that as those incidences come up, and obviously will notify you. They already have rules in place for their behavior and their consequences. So we're kind of open and broad on that at this point until we go through, and we're going to hope that our kids are really responsible and respectful, and we won't have too many things go wrong. To use the Chromebook, they have to, when you first open it, they have to log in using their Urbana City Schools student account. So if you as a parent have it at home and you want to log in, they have to log in through their account, okay? They can't log in through their personal Yahoo or your Hotmail or any of those things. It's going to go through their school account. And again, that's just so we can make sure that what they're doing is appropriate and that we're doing a good job of keeping them safe. While they're at school, it's going to be just like always. They'll be running on the school network. It'll be filtered just like we do with any of our devices. And then when they leave the school environment, we do have a management software piece, and it's going to give it at this point a basic level of filtering. And And then if we have issues, I think we can tighten that up and make that a little bit more secure. Is there anything, Mr. Hanson, you want to say about
The,
that software?
the access management software is an ongoing piece. We're still learning it. Like I said, we may tighten things down, we may loosen things up based on needs, problems that we find, comments, suggestions, both from staff and from parents, guardians, as to where we need to go with it. So that piece will be in flux, but know that there is a content filtering piece on there to try to limit the inappropriate content for young children.
All right, then our contact information is up there, and it's also on the paper that we provided you with tonight. Please feel free to contact any of us, whoever you're comfortable with contacting. If you have any questions or concerns, kind of to back up to the payment piece, if you have some special circumstances that you need to talk through with us, we understand that we're halfway through the year. We did not get this started as early as we would like. So we are definitely open to helping you out, doing what we need to do for your family to make sure that your child can participate in this program successfully. Our goal is to help your child and provide them with the best education we can and keep your child safe while doing that. So we are definitely open to any phone calls, emails, whatever you need to do to get a hold of any of us, and we will help you in any way that we can. So I think we're at the question and answer section. So if you have a question or concern or comment, please let us know, and I'm going to do my best I can to answer.
I have a question.
Okay.
What if we are not comfortable with this program, period? If we don't want our child to participate in it at all?
Okay.
Is there going to be a consequence for that if we choose not to sign the waiver or the release and we do not feel comfortable letting them have a Chromebook?
Okay, so you're not comfortable because you don't want them to take it home, or because of the payment process?
Multiple
or?
different things.
Okay.
I feel like, this was something decided by the school board and not given to the parents to choose if
Okay.
they feel comfortable with this. Secondly, I'm not comfortable with the school being able to say that they, I don't understand why it has to be on our shoulders to pay for something like this. And saying, yes, first accident, you might pay for it, but then the second one, not to mention, it seems like only certain people have to pay, other people don't. You say you're going to have security things, but I haven't heard anything about antivirus software. Who determines what's appropriate, what's inappropriate for these children? I have a lot of issues with this program, and I'm not comfortable with it. My son has access to technology at home where I can control it. I have the security codes. I have the ability to lock him in and out of things. If he needs to do online stuff, he can do it from our house where it's supervised, and I feel more comfortable with that. I do not feel comfortable with him having total access to a Chromebook all day long, not to mention that there's been too many bullying issues, violence in the schools. What happens if my son, somebody breaks his Chromebook and it's not his fault? The first time, yeah, you guys might pay for it. What happens the second time or the third time? That's going to fall on me. That's a very costly expense to my family. Not to mention I have 4 kids, so that's a costly expense 4 times to pay for this over and over again. Now, I thought when this originally was proposed, there was a grant that was supposed to be helping to pay for these things, and even then I was concerned with the cost and also some of the other implementations. I also wanted to know some things about, how are we going to make sure there's anti-bullying? With all the bullying problems, how are you going to make sure cyberbullying does not become a major issue with these things?
I think all of those are absolutely valid concerns, and I hope everybody can hear, because I don't think I can repeat all of them. I'm going to pick out a couple that I know I can answer right now, and Mr. Hanson can jump in, or Mrs. Petty, or Mrs. Schultz. So one thing I heard was the antivirus software. The Chromebooks are not going to they're not prone to getting those kind of
Correct.
things.
Chromebooks, by their nature, by the OS, do not get viruses. Now, trust me. Now, you can get pop-ups, but a pop-up is different from a virus. And resetting of a Chromebook is a 15-second proposition, and a student can log back in. So I can have machines back up and running in no time at all, as opposed to a Windows machine, which can take quite a while to do.
So I know that was a very
Right.
small concern.
And that was one of the reasons why we chose why we tended to focus on both Chromebooks and iPads was they were a lot more limited in their ability to get viruses or be.
But they can't. Anything that's a computer can receive a virus, whether it's a Chromebook, an iPad, or anything. Typically,
Well, the
there's
virus
always
has to be
a
written
possibility.
specifically for the device, and currently, to my knowledge, there are no Chrome OS viruses.
But that could be now, but tomorrow there could be one that could pop up. I'm just saying the possibility is there.
There's always the possibility, but under Windows, the Windows operating system, there are somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70,000 viruses. Mac OS, there's somewhere around 50. Chrome OS, currently there are 0. The Mac OS is one of the most secure. The Chrome OS is probably the most at this point. But you're right, there's always that possibility.
So let's talk about the bullying situation, because that is a huge thing for all of us as teachers, administrators, and parents. I have a daughter in 6th grade as well. It's a huge, huge concern, and that's why we're employing the GoGuardian management software to hopefully, and again, as Mr. Hansen said, it's new for us, and we're going to have to use it. Mechanicsburg has had great success with that software and being able to kind of see when things are going on because of the keywords that are coming up, because of, and I don't know enough about the software, but, to kind of help keep track if there is a problem. We can look at the Gmail account, or we can look at GoGuardian and see what's being happened. Are we going to catch everything? Absolutely not. There's no program out there. Our teachers are hopefully going to be very aware of what's happening in their classes, what's going on in their books, and we're going to do our very best that we can. But it is absolutely a valid concern. I don't know that I can give you a peace of mind 100%. We will do the very best that we can. We always encourage the kids to talk to us when things are happening like that. Obviously, you do have a little bit more control over at home with your own devices. So kind of back to your original question, what's going to happen if you refuse? We've talked about this is going to be, at least in the future, part of the school fee. So some of the consequences for not paying a school fee would be no grade card, no pictures, up into high school, no homecoming, prom, those kind of things. It used to be not even, you couldn't graduate. Now it's, you get your diploma, you can't participate in the ceremony. Those are the new rules that we've heard. Because we're starting kind of late in the year, we know we've spoken with our whole team, plus Mr. Thiel, our superintendent, expressed some of these concerns, because you're not the first one, obviously to have some concerns about this. So I think the decision was, at this point, that if you're not comfortable with it yet this year, your child can use them at school, we'll have some extras to use at school, and then next year we need to be ready to kind of fully implement, and maybe by then some of your concerns will be alleviated, maybe not, and we'll have to address that when it gets to next year. I don't think we're going to hold anything this year for not paying for it.
There'll be a checkout. There'll be a checkout. We'll have some students that'll have to come in the morning, check their device out from the office, and then scan it back in at the end of the day. Okay. As for the bullying situation, we've already had incidents, and that was on the Hill, I do believe, and we can track it. We can track it down to where, and we're not going to tolerate it. That's one thing that, we kind of, the teachers have been preaching to the kids too. That's not used as a social piece of media that you can use, if they have to email someone to get an assignment or anything like that, then that is possible. And I know kids are going to be kids, but if there's anything that comes up on his device that may be an issue, I would hope to think that he comes to Mr. Schultz or myself, and we will take care of it.
I would hope so. It's just that you guys mentioned Mechanicsburg, and I think it's ironic because there was that girl who just killed herself in Mechanicsburg due to cyberbullying.
That was in Triad.
Triad. Well,
Yeah.
that's still close enough to the area.
Yeah,
That's
it
nearby to
absolutely is. It
And
puts
that's
us
one of
all
my major
on
concerns,
high alert,
because it's the age group you're talking
Sure,
about.
absolutely.
And that is a major concern.
It definitely is. And that's one of the reasons, I think we see different sides of that. I see it as, I know now that we have a little bit of management and a little bit of help for your child because they have our device at home. And you see it as, you can control your own device. And as to who decides what's appropriate or what's not, we're going to go with GoGuardian's levels of filtering, and we're going to look at what we would, as parents, what would we accept for our own children, as teachers, what would we accept in our classrooms, as a district, what's acceptable to us. And as we start to hear from parents, look, my kid was able to get on this, then, we have to make those adjustments as it goes along. No new program is going to be foolproof, but really our intention is to help your child and keep your child safe. You also mentioned something about a grant. That was, not that we haven't looked at grants, because we have. I'm always looking to see what grants are out there. There has not been any come across that I have seen that would fit what we were trying to do with this program. So I don't know where that statement came from. That was not something that not that we haven't ever looked, because we have, but that wasn't the route that we chose to go from the beginning, because there just simply wasn't anything out there that I thought would meet these needs. Again, having that little bit of accountability of, hey, my parents had to pay for this is my device, it's not just the schools. Hopefully they take a little bit better care of it.
What if we choose that we don't want to own it because maybe we have devices at home, we feel that it would be an unnecessary expense on our family account? Could we be like the fee waiver situation where they have it at school, they sign it out and turn it back in, because there's no reason for them to have it at home. It's an unnecessary expense.
And we've talked about that, because we've had other parents say, especially at Christmas, I just bought my child a device. My feeling on it was, if we offer that, then I have to be assured that your child has something at home. And I don't know that that's going to happen all the time. So I think at this point, we're not giving that option.
Because that could be a big game changer for some people too. Because some people are going to say, well, look, I have a laptop at home. He has a tablet. He has an iPad. He has, a Kindle Fire or something like that, and access to all this stuff at home. Why should I spend even more money on something?
And we have talked about that, and I think the district feels that, we want everybody kind of on that level playing field. It helps our teachers know how to troubleshoot, how to do the assignments for the students, how to get them the information they need. We do understand the financial aspect of it, and so we're, willing to work the best that we can, but I don't know that we're going to give an option right now to opt out.
Is that replacing textbooks? Is that why it's going to become part of our school fees?
It will hopefully at some point, that's going to be kind of a slow process, and I don't know that it'll completely ever go.
But your bylaws and the Board of Education said that textbooks should not be charged to the parents.
Well, I don't know that
It says right there in your bylaws
Right.
that required textbooks to the students who are enrolled in the district are free of charge. Textbooks may be in a print and bound or electronic form. If this is going to be considered a textbook,
well, I think it's more than just a
It's
textbook.
more than just, it's a device that they're actually doing.
We really are trying to answer your questions the best they can, so I'm going to ask that you put your concerns into writing and email it to one or all of us, so that we're all on the same board and we can get some, written answers back to you, if that's okay? Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Yes.
On the presentation, it said that the Chromebooks would go for 4 years, so that would put them at the end of their sophomore year.
Yes, thank you. I forgot to touch on that. It will, because of the age we're starting it, we're saying 4 years because that's what Google is saying, we want to be safe. We don't want to promise you extra usage of it and not have it happen. At the end of 4 years, if it's still working, it's still good, you've already paid for it, we're going to continue to use it. But it could be that you need to re-enroll in the program. Obviously, your child would only have 1 or 2 years left, depending on when the Chromebook stops working. We obviously aren't going to charge you, the full price for it if you're only planning to use it the last 2 years of high school. We haven't gotten to that yet because we're just starting. But that would be, a nominal fee, the $50 or whatever. You wouldn't have to buy it again. You could. But if it's still working and it's still going strong, Chromebooks just haven't been around long enough yet for us to give you a definite time period.
They said, what, 4 to 6 years? Isn't that what they said, 4 to 6 years?
I'm leaning more towards the low end of that. I'm really leaning towards the 4 years. They give a window of time that Google says we will support these devices with OS updates. And that window of time might actually be 6 years, but we all know how fast technology moves, and it's very possible that at the end of 4 years, the 4 gigs of RAM that these machines come with, which is high end for a Chromebook. The Chromebooks that we spec have Intel processors and 4 gigs of RAM. They're not the Samsung processors with 2 gigs of RAM that some of the really inexpensive ones are that you can get at Walmart or Best Buy. So we spec them high so that they would have a longer shelf life, if you will, that they will be usable longer. as long as Google upholds their end and the student upholds their end of taking care of it and making sure that it's looked after and well fed.
Any other questions? Yes.
I have to. Okay, so you guys say 4 years. After the 4 years, are they still going to need a Chromebook up through 12th grade?
Yes, we're
And
planning
if
to
it
roll this.
doesn't last till that long, are we going to have to purchase a new one? No?
No, you won't have to purchase another one, but you will have to, I mean, you may have to put the $50 down in order to get through. Am I correct? Yes.
Okay, and then, like, if you purchase it full price and you own it, like, say this year, are they allowed to bring it home over the summer?
Yes.
When you do own it?
Yes, once you've paid for it full price, or paid that $150 or that $175, they take it home over the summer. And they can they still have to use their Urbana account to log into it, and still have, our stuff on it, but yes, they would have it all summer. Yes?
My concern is they already have enough books to carry around. You say it's book bag ready, but you don't let the kids take their book bags to class. Are you going to allow the kids to take their book bags so they don't drop these laptops?
Well, they're made pretty durable, and if you want to come up and feel it afterwards to get a look at the rubber and the outside of it. I've kind of watched the 7th graders when I've been out here the last couple days, and they've been doing a really good job with, they carry it with their books. We talk about this is not an appropriate way to carry it. They stack it on top of their books because we don't want everything on top of there. Most that I've seen are kids carrying 2, 3 books at a time, plus maybe a binder, 2 books in a binder, and this. It's been okay so far. The book bag thing will be up to Mrs. Petty and Mr. Schultz if it becomes an issue. I know we have reasons why we don't carry book bags. But that is why, again, as Mr. Hanson said, one of the reasons we went with this one too, because it is pretty durable.
Teachers receive these right at the beginning of the year, okay? And one of the teachers they were allowing one of the students to use it. That kid dropped it. I mean, it dropped it from, desk level, right on the floor, and nothing happened to it. It was one of those things where it is durable. We know,
That's not a guarantee, by the way.
But I'm just saying, I know that this
we have
teacher
tested
did.
them, we have dropped them, and
So she was very worried and came in and said, this happened, and it didn't do anything to it. It's good, So, there is some durability, definitely durability to it. How other students know that they're
We will have, this one is mine, so it does not have it, but the students will have a tag on the front, on the bottom of there to identify. It is a tag that could be peeled off, but it is a little bit more rugged and durable than like what you would buy at Walmart. And we will talk to the students the day we pass them out about those tags have to be on there at all times. If they lose one or it comes off, they need to tell somebody immediately so we can get them a new one. If you want to buy cases or sleeves for them, you can do that. It's an 11-inch, a Dell 11-inch Chromebook, so Walmart, Best Buy, anybody there could help you if you needed to do that. You just give them that. But I don't feel that they need to have anything on them. I feel they're durable enough that it'll be okay. But I know some parents like that extra protection on there.
the serial number will be tied to your student. If your student comes to us and says, I lost it, somebody took it, we can call up their serial number and we can lock that device. They will know, whoever has it will not be able to use that device again until it is brought to one of us to unlock. Or the student recovers it and says, I have it in my possession, a few keystrokes, and they're good to go.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got something.
Yes.
Let's say it's not an accident or something and the Chromebook just stops working. Is there like a repair period for that, a warranty?
If that happened, we would take care of it. If it's your child, anytime that it's going to be repaired, their child will have a loaner until we repair it. But I would say if it's clearly a malfunction of the machine.
Chromebooks themselves have a 1-year warranty, and although now I'm on film for saying this, you know, if something happens outside of the repair period, and I have the parts, I will try my best to repair it and get it running for the student, you know, with at little to no charge. You know, just do what I can to make it right and get it working regardless of what it is. For the school's purpose, there's a 1-year warranty. I can send it away or have Dell just ship me a new one. Outside of that, we'll make it right if there's a problem with it, if there's a malfunction that's obviously not caused through the student mishandling it, spilling water on it, and what have you.
It has been very positive for our 7th graders. We probably have 162 seventh graders, and we have probably seven that have not picked them up yet. I mean, anywhere from 7 to 10, and I can tell you, they're, they're very excited to have them. They are taking care of them. They're using them. I had a staff meeting today. I had teachers telling me over the weekend they were doing their homework, where before, a lot of times, they weren't doing their homework. It wasn't the paper and pencil, so they are engaged. They are engaged, definitely.
And again, after you leave tonight, if you don't feel like speaking up tonight, or you have concerns or questions after you leave, please email any one of us. Obviously Mr. Schultz and Mrs. Petty are in charge of the school building. Mr. Hanson, if you can't tell, does more of the fix-it mechanical stuff. I'm the integration specialist, so I'm the one that is privileged to work with your children. And I've worked with these guys since they were kindergarten. They all know me pretty well. So I get to work with them and their teachers. So any of us should be able to answer your questions. And if not, work together to find an answer to that. So please don't hesitate. We definitely want to work with you on this project to make it successful for our children and our staff.
There were a couple parents that said something. If you need to see me afterwards, you can see me. I think there's a couple parents that said that I need to give you something as soon as, this is over. Okay?
Any last? Yes?
Does it have to be checked?
No. No, you can send, they can send in cash, right, for those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it didn't have to be a check. It could be cash. Absolutely.
The last
But
presentation
if I take it tonight, there were some parents that called and said, if I bring up the check, if I bring up the money tonight, can I give it to you? And I said, I can't give you a receipt tonight, but I will get it locked up. I will take care of it.
Okay.
So I can do that. Yes.
Otherwise, you can send it to school with your child or stop in here at local. Okay. Mr. Carter, to the
And like I said, the paperwork will go home tomorrow. And the rollout will begin next week. Okay? The rollout will begin next week.
We have to February 24th, right? Or 21st or something.
To pay the payment, yes. To get
Yes.
the papers back, we would like those next week.
Okay.
Or whenever you're comfortable with getting them back. But again, the paper is what's going to get your child the Chromebook. So if you've marked your payment plan, you have until whatever the date is on there to pay for it. But the paper is what's going to allow us to give your child the Chromebook. Okay? All right, we really, yes?
Well, my own experience with using laptops over the years is eventually the batteries start to fail. How easy is it to replace a battery in the Chromebook?
Very easy.
Is it, you know,
It takes more time to get the 9 screws out of the bottom than it does to actually replace the battery. And I will have extra batteries on hand, and it won't be an issue.
All right, thank you very much for coming out tonight. If you need to stop and see any of us, that's fine. Otherwise, we look forward to working with you.